kind of ETL tools, especially in Excel, people who use Excel for analysis, they do a lot of pivoting a lot, okay? Pivoting means just flipping your data in a way that you can group all of the data together, okay? For example, let me open up my Excel. It's good for when you want to like really do some kind of transformation of data, and some data doesn't come in a way that it's ready for analysis. And sometimes you might have such data, so it is, and you want to like analyze them together, but they are just individually on their own. So how do you pivot them and make them one row? For example, let's say we have this data here. We have year 1, year 2, year 3. Let's say that year 3, year 4, and year 5. So now we have like 2017 sales here, and let's call this 500. No, that's year 1. This is 600, and this is 700, 500, 200. And then we have 2018 sales, okay? And let's call this 600 as well. It doesn't matter. I'm just making up these numbers. And then we have, let's say 2019 data. And this one is 50, 80, you know. And then we have like this amount here. So now you want to analyze this data together. But you see that let me fix this one here. 2019 sales. You see that now, if you want to calculate your total sales, you will have to add all of this together. Add this one together here, add this one together here, add this one together here, and then add all of this together for you to get the total sales. You know, but sometimes this is not how data should be. Okay, in the real world, the way data is designed to, the way data ought to be for analysis is supposed to be like, let's say, sales, okay, and this would be sales value, okay. Then this sales, we can call this like sales year, okay. So all of this year here would be under the sales, you know, 2017, 2018, you know, 18, 2019, you know, and then all of these values will be in here. So each of these value will take up the year and so on. So you can easily aggregate all of these sales together, and you can dissect that number by each of the year. That's how database is supposed to be at times. Now, there are a few cases where you also have to do like comparison of the year-over-year sales. You can still use your data like this, but it's not advisable to have your data in the database this way. Your year should be in one column. The value for all of the data should be in one column. For example, let's take this 2017 sales for example. Now, this is supposed to be 2017 sales, which is here it will be 500, and then the 2018 sales here will be 600. The 2019 sales will be 50, and then here again it will have 2017, which will be 600, and then you have your 2018, no, yeah, 2018, which will be 450, and so on. So it's, you you are labeling it sales. So you can easily aggregate by the year and by the sum, which is how we've been using our data. Now, what if your company says this data here separately, want you to like put them in order, make all of the years here into one column and put all of this value here into one column, just like we have down here. So how do you do it? The way to fix that is pivot. You have to pivot your data. Pivoting means flipping your data. So if I highlight all of this now, I think as a pivot in Excel. Let me see if I can remember how to do it here. If I go to data, blah blah blah. If I don't find it here, I will look for yes. No, I think let me see. Let me right click. Should be able to do it. I can't find it here, but let me. Okay, pivot is right here. Okay, yeah. So let's say I want to pivot this data here right now. You see the way the arrow signs goes, pivot, you see it's telling you if your data is this way, it will turn it the other way and make everything to like column. So let's try and pivot this column here and see the outcome. If I click on this right now, so it's telling me select table range, yes. New worksheet. Okay, I'll do it in a new worksheet, or I can also do it in this existing worksheet here. But let's do existing new worksheet. Okay, now you can see right now that is, where is it? This no, what I wanted. I don't know what Excel is doing. Oh, it's still working. Here's the range. So now it's bringing all of this. Hold on, let me click on this. No, this didn't, it didn't do it the way that I wanted. But what pivot means is going to flip it, turn it around. Okay. Now let's go back to Tableau Prep, and I want us to do something. If you look at this data here that we have here for that nuclear reactors. Oh, no, that's not one. Come on. Let me expand this. You see that we have all of this, all of the capacity percentage for each of the plans for 2003, 2004, 2005, all the way to 2018. Okay, now if I want to see the capacity for 2003, I will have to drag this one here into test. So I'm only seeing the capacity for 2003, But what if I want to see everything, all of this side by side, and see this capacity on their own, as in side by side, and compare them side by side. Now, the way this is here is not really a good way to show to store data. This data here is not properly stored. Okay, so for us to put this in the right structure, we need to pivot all of this data right here. Okay, now you can do it in Tableau Desktop. Okay, if I want to do this right here in Tableau Desktop, I have to go to the data pane. Well, the shortfall of doing it here is that you can only do pivot once, because Tableau Desktop is not for data transformation, where it allows you to do some manual data transformation. So let's see the outcome. Let's try and do it here, and then we're going to do it in Tableau Prep. So I want to pivot all of this data right here. So I can click on the first one, through to the last one, holding my shift key down to select everything. and I want to, this is the last one here, I'll click on this. Now I can let go of my shift key. So I've selected all of the table that I want to pivot. So if I go to this little drop down here, you see this pivot function here. I click it. Now you can see that what it did, it says pivot field name. It has put all of the field name in one row and put all of the value in that in one row. So basically, is it the same thing, but each value now, all of the value are now aggregatable with one field. Oh, sorry, see, we didn't include this. So let me do Control Z. I need to include. Let me click here again, the first one. You just click on top to highlight, then hold my Shift key, move throughout the way to the last one, which is 2003. Now I can let go of my Shift key, click on any of the little drop down here, and do a pivot. So now you can rename this, okay? Always advisable. You can always rename this. But for now, let's go back to our worksheet and see what happened. So you can see now that all of those values, why is this one still not? Look like this 2003 is a bastard. It's not always joining, but let's leave it for now. So now I can see that all of those values here has been transformed into a different table. So if we go to our pivot, where's our pivot? Where's the pivot?
Is there?
Okay, it's right here. The pivot name now, if I drag this into my row, you see it gave us all of the field name, the title. Now, because that this the value is not aggregatable, if I bring this into here right now, it's going to aggregate all of the measure by the year. So you can see that for each of the, this value here, this value here is supposed to be a measure. Let's change this back to decimal number and drag this down here. Supposed to be here, come down. Where is it? Pivot value, supposed to be here. Okay, now if I drag this in here, so it's not aggregatable, and I can now also dissect this number to say, okay, I only want to see, I only want to see only for, let's say 2003, I can use it to show filter. Yes, show filter. Sorry, I want to, why is it not showing? The show filter. I can say, okay, I want to see only for 2004. This is the capacity, but they are producing 86.5 capacity. And if I say I want to see for some region only, I can show filter. I can say I only want to see only for the core region. What was the capacity for core region? Is 2.85. So you can see how you quickly make sense of a large unstructured data by just doing a pivot. Now, before we go further in Tableau prep, any question on pivoting? And when do you need to use pivoting? Again, this is not something that you're going to be doing all the time, but if you have like an unstructured data like we have before, pivoting is the way to go. Pivot your data is still the same thing, only pivot what you need, don't pivot everything, okay? For example,
Lucky,
yeah,
after that pivot, so I can now use, for example, all of those year date values. I can now use them as a table.
yeah, you can use them as a table, yeah.
Unlike before,
example,
I won't be able to use them as a table before.
Nope, you can't. You can't because they are not properly structured. You know,
Right.
you can even use them as a bar chart also, okay, which here have the most capacity. you know, and then you can start playing with it. You can see that 2013 has the most capacity and so on, you know.
Unlike before, so it's just going to be just one that I can use
One
at a time.
individually, yes.
So, awesome.
You know, some people will do it in a different way, but I don't like that. I don't want to show you guys those kind of dirty kind of work. For example, let's do Control Z. I don't like to show people those kind of dirty work. Let's go back to where we were before.
A quick question, sir.
Can I group it?
Grouping is, you can group it, but grouping is like putting some categories together into one. So if you group it, how can you group? Okay, where will you group 20?
It will aggregate.
Yeah, it might, but remember the value is what you want to like try to aggregate.
Yeah.
Okay, for example now, okay, where do I group 2003 and 2004? They are separate entity. You get it? They are separate. So where do you want to group it? So grouping is not the ID for this kind of stuff. Remember, they want to now this number, the value in here is only for 2003. So this is the value for 2003. Okay. Now, if you want to see the core value for this, so if you consider for core is 2.8. You know, for the exception is 45.5. But now, what if your users want to be able to like flip through all of these years by one single stuff? You know, you still have to structure your data so that it can be in one place. You can dissect it anyhow you want. What people will do, some guys, if they don't want to do like a pivot, is to just do something like this. Again, it might not make sense. It will only give them like the whole of the aggregation to say, okay, this plus this, you know, they just keep adding up and so on. By the time you know it, you know, no, let me not even go this way. This is just a dirty way of doing it, okay? So pivot means flipping your data. And in what instance can you use pivots in a situation like this, where you have similar data field? Maybe they are different, but they should be together, but they are on their own. So you can pivot all of this data. It's still going to align with your data. You know, it's still going to align, but what? Again, let me mention this. That remember I told you to be careful using number of records as your counts. Now, this is one instance where you don't want to use number of records. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, now let's look at our data here. Our number of record here, let's use the count here, is what? 97. Okay. Let's see if we do a pivot. A lot of time it's going to increase your number of records. Let's see. Let's do pivot. And now let's see. See? You see that? Our number of record has blown up. But even though this is not the actual number of record, because we have flipped our data, the data is still the same, but the record has increased. So if a lot of people do that mistake of using number of record to do their count. You know, it's ideal, but I don't trust it, because if you are joining your data, doing some pivot, that data is bound to give you some kind of wrong amount. So instead, I like to do what? Count a unique number. There must be ID that is unique to each rows. In this instance, is what? I'll count my number of plants. Okay. Where is it? Or I can count
number of license
number. Let's see, that should give me, because that should be unique. If I put this into here, 97. So regardless of how I flip my data, change my data, this will never change. But if you're using number of records, you're going to put yourself in some kind of thing that you cannot explain during validation, especially if you have like a QA that QA your work. Okay. So once you start a new project, save yourself some stress, do a count. Don't start using record, hoping that you will change it in future. You just do your count, a unique row of it. Use ID, employee ID, system ID, anything that is unique to each row, use that. Okay, any question on this? So before I take you on how to do it in Tableau Prep.
Only use when you have, with the understanding of what you're saying, is only used when you have a large number of data that you just need to extract a certain information out of them.
No. Who can help us explain to Bayo when we use pivot?
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that because you have more than 1 year, you have like 2003, 4 to like 15, and you are looking for more or less like an aggregate, not because each year.
Let's say, for example, now, let's even take another example here, even though here we cannot do more than one pivot.
Yeah.
If this, let's say, region and division now, I want to make them into, let's say, year, region, and division. They are supposed to be under one column with the value separate. But now they are standing alone. They are now like individual entity, but all of this need to be one entity. So for me to make them one entity, I need to do a pivot. It's not, you will not use this all the time, because I mean, since I've started working, I've only used pivot like once. That's because I was the one transforming my data. I was the one trying to manipulate it, But in case you need to use it, just know that pivot is the way to go. All right. Dada, have you used pivots in your job?
No.
That's because a lot of the data comes transformed in your database, is structured. But I just want you guys to know that this is how to do it in case you need to do it, All right. But we do it in Tableau Prep now, and we can split our data, and then we can also do some more analysis. Any question on this?
I have a question.
Okay.
Is the pivot, is it in any way related to VLOOKUP?
No. You can use VLOOKUP in pivot. VLOOKUP means like, okay, to say, okay, let's say you are, let me go here. Let's say you have this value. Let me just put something in here right now. And you want to look up something in this field. You can say, okay, look up 15 in this field. If you find 15 in this field, then give me the corresponding row level data in the doc number. So you are trying to match one data into another row. It's like matching. For example, I want to say, okay, look at this doc number. If you find this number, then give me this number. So I will use a VLOOKUP to say, okay, look up this number here, or give me this corresponding number. Yeah, that's
Okay,
what.
how can we do something like a VLOOKUP on Tableau? If I have something like that, on my Excel sheet, and I want to look it up in Tableau just to transform my data, how am I going to do it?
In lookup, you can use it. Let me say, for example, now, let's say, and a good example where I use VLOOKUP in Tableau. Let me see.
Can I say something, Lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the V implies, what it means is just vertical lookup. Like if you do the KPI that Lucky used to give us, right? If you arrange those values and it give you a table, just look at them vertically, like what he said just now. Like, okay, look at this figure, give me 15. On the vertical level, there is VLOOKUP, there is HLOOKUP. H will give you the horizontal, V will give you the vertical, just like X and Y axis.
Yeah, but my question is, how do you do that in Tableau?
In Tableau, when I use VLOOKUP is point, for example, I want to like see if I can see a blank space. Let's say I have this number here now. Okay, I have this here. I have this number here, but this one here is blank. It has nothing there. Let's assume this terminate is blank. Okay, for me, I use VLOOKUP to like, so okay, I use lookup. I use lookup, not VLOOKUP. I use lookup to say, okay, look at this plant here, okay. If it is blank, then put 0. You know, that's the way I use like VLOOKUP. I say, okay, if this thing here is like, if this number here, for example, if this is blank, well, once it's blank, return 0 for that particular stuff. That's when I use lookup. But
How about if it
VLOOKUP,
has a value?
no, you don't need it. It's sometimes when you are working and it has like a blank, some users will say, okay, if it's blank, just put 0 there.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah. So that's when I use lookup. VLOOKUP is in Excel.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, VLOOKUP is in Excel. Lookup is in Tableau. Okay. Okay. Time is going. Let's go back now to our Tableau prep. Let's say we have this NROC flow that we've designed already. Okay. And here, if I open to this flow right here, you can see that we have all of these field here. And again, let's say in the real life, after pivoting, and you want to say, okay, you want to unpivot, all you have to do is highlight the 2 field and go back in here and do remove pivot to bring everything back. Okay, that's simple as that. Okay, if you go back in here now, everything should be okay, at the same. Now, if you look at all of these number here, so you can see that we have all of them here separately, but we want to put them into one entity. One will be the dimension and one will be the value in here. So how do we fix that? All you have to do is come here and you click on pivots. Okay, click on pivot, and Tableau is going to ask you which field do you want to pivot. Now, if I just add everything in here, let me. Oh, sorry. If I just select everything in here, and drag here, everything will be just 2 rows. You see what pivot does? Whatever you drag into there, it will make them one entity. One will be the descriptive data, and one will be the measure data, what we call the dimension and measure. But this is not what we want, okay? What we want is to pivot all of this year and their percentile. So I will click on this, hold my shift key and click on the last one, try to select anything within that range. And then I would drag that and just drop into this field here. The Tableau is so smart, it's just going to give you all of the pivots. And here you can rename this, okay? And you can even do some kind of cleaning from here. Where is that pivot? Let's look for it. Pivot. Okay, it's naming this as capacity percentile. So let's look for that. Okay, capacity factor. So we can just leave this the way it is. We can call this capacity factor percent. Let's leave that the way it is, and we can call this this one here as capacity year. Okay. capacity here. Looking good. Now, what do you think? Is there anything else that we need to do here? Is there anything that we need to do here to further clean this data? Because this looks good if this is how you want to use it. But for me, I think since we have capacity here, and we have capacity
remove
factor
the
here,
capacity
yeah, we
factor.
can remove the capacity factor, you know, just to make this only the year. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so how do we do this? You can
Please.
in Power Query, I used to do like a very simple trick. I'll just copy what I don't want, and then I'll go and use find and replace. I'll put this value here and say, find this value and replace with nothing. That will just remove everything. But I've not been able to see that in Tableau Prep. No, but so for here we can do
Please.
what's it called? Split.
Delimiter.
Yeah.
There's delimiter.
You can use automatic split to just say, okay, look for the let's do automatic splits. No, let's use custom split. I mean, let's save ourselves. Let's use space, space, and use the first, since we all know that we only want the year, so, and there is space in between the year and the capacity. So I'll just put, I'll just hit my space key once and leave this split from the first and click split. That should give me what I want. So where is it? Where did it go? It didn't split capacity. Where did it go?
There's one underneath that says capacity here.
No, these are just the metadata. I'm looking for what we just did right now. So okay. Now let's do this way. Let me add a step, because we are still on the pivot level here. I don't want to do, once I do my pivot, you see I made two changes here. Pivot, rename. So, okay, capacity, yes, split. So where is it? It is split. So where is it? Let's look for this.
Maybe we didn't do step.
It's right here. It's right here. It went all the way to the end. Okay, it's right here.
Okay.
It's right here. So we have this year here. Let me do capacity so we can have. Okay, it's right here. So capacity splits. So now this and this is the same, just that we don't have this capacity. So I will just remove this one here. I'll remove this one, and now I can rename this to just the capacity here only. And I think we're good. I can just add a step right here, a clean step, and preview the data. So now, since we already published this data before into our database, how do we now replace this with this? You know, how do we replace this with this? For me, I don't want to talk too much. I can see that we made some changes right here, right? You can see this little calculation feed that we made in this place. Okay, so I want this to be my new output now, since we did this pivot here. This pivot is not here. So I'm not going to come here. This is my way, okay? I'm going to come here and I can see that, okay, I removed some field here, state 1, and I did some calculation here. So I'll just right click this one here. I'll copy the first one. I'll come to this field right here, and I'll just right click here and paste that calculation. It's going to pick it up. Tableau is so smart. I'll come back in here again. I'll right click on the next calculation. I'll right click there, copy.
No, just press it.
Oh, sorry, Ctrl Z. Copy. And I'll come here again. I'll paste it. I need to find out if I can copy multiple stuff. I've not tried it, but you should be able to just copy a lot, everything at once. This one, okay, I'll just copy this one as well, because I don't want to copy this calculation. Come in here and paste it. Okay, so then I also want to find out the table name where this one is published. Okay, I can just come in here. So okay. Oh, actually, I didn't need to do that calculation anymore because we are only branching out from here.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah,
because it's
yeah,
part of
yeah.
what we have done before.
Yeah, it's part of what we are doing. But if we are taking this pivot from another level, anything behind this, then you can just copy the calculation. So yeah, that was a good one. How come nobody catch that? So since this calculation is already here, and I'm branching out from here, so this calculation is part of this. It's going to flow into here. So all I need to do is to find out which table am I using. It's called NROC. I'll just copy that table name, and I can right-click this one and remove this attributes. Then I'll add my own a new attribute here right now, and I want this to be. This one was in the SQL Server, right? SQL Server. I want to connect to which one? Okay, I think it's this one. Connect to my SQL Server. Why is it not? What's the error? So right, it's a table name. So where's the table?
When you're trying to connect it, it shows errors on the output. It's a 36.
Yeah,
field.
I'm looking for the. Okay. I need to select my SQL first, and then I'm going to sign in. I need my SQL login. Let me see if I can get it from here. I need my SQL login. Come on. So while we are waiting for my SQL, any questions so far on pivoting? Any question on pivoting? And once you do this, your dashboard should still remain the same because all the field that will change does not affect the field that you use in your dashboard. So if the users want to do more analysis with the new field, you can just bring them in. Just go back to your extract or refresh your data. You should have those two fields in there, and then you can build your analysis with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm selecting my table. This is the nuclear reactor. The table name. I need to look for the table name here. Let me connect. Now I want to replace the data that I have in there before. You can also replace your extract, your Excel, the one that you had before. Remember, this data is changed now. So for me, I'm just going to replace it. What's that table name?
NRC.
NRC data. Okay.
NRC clean.
No, look at the table here. NRC data. So I'm not going to go in here and call this NRC data. I'll select this. So now it's going to tell me that the table already exists. Okay. And then let me remember this CSV is still different. It's still different. So if you need to publish this new one with to update the CSV that you have, what do you need to do? Remember, this CSV is branching out from the old one. Now, if you need to replace your CSV file with this update here, what do you need to do? How do you fix that?
If you run the flow again, how about if you run it?
Look at your flow. What you see is what it is. This was the old one. This CSV is branching out from your old one. But we did our pivot by adding another step, and we did our pivot here. So is this pivot here going to flow into the CSV?
No,
You
we need
do,
to add it. We need to add a step and add them together and join it.
How?
We add a step to the
Okay, wait, okay. So how about this output here? Do we need it?
I think we need to, if we add a step to it and add it to the pivots.
Okay, add a step to where?
To this
Add a step to
CSV, to the CSV.
then you now pivot it again. Add a clean step.
Add a step to the CSV, then we add it to the output on the.
You cannot add. You cannot add a step to an output. Output means everything is ready to go out. So how do you include this new pivot into the CSV? Now we are ready with the one going to our database. But in your last one, you have a CSV copy of this data. So how do you get a CSV of this new one now?
Oh, okay.
Are you not going to create a join?
If you go to that clean 4, can you run an output from another output from clean 4?
Exactly. So all you have to do is just know the name of this CSV that you have before by going here and say, okay, it's located here, and this is the name NROC file. Okay, for me, you can just copy it, and it's located in this. It's located here, NROC file on my desktop. So you have to do is just come here and remove this step and add another step here and put another output. Where is it?
Step up.
Clean step first.
Okay, a clean step first. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. No, Ctrl Z. I can come in here, click this, and click an output. You click on that little plus sign, click an output, and this one now becomes the new CSV. Browse the location. It's in your desktop, and
As it is.
no, sir, I've not selected the file type. I want this to be a CSV. Now can I go to my browse, to my desktop, and look for that CSV file? Say yes. Now there's one. There's some instance where Tableau Prep will not allow you to replace a CSV file. You know, I have that instance, but sometimes it will allow you to replace. But in this instance, it allows. So now we have our two data sources. So if we run the two at once now, you're going to say, you want to replace this? You say, yes, replace. Why is it not asking me for the database? Yeah, I'm replacing the one in my database. Okay, see, it's choosing to append. Append means it's going to add this to the one we have before, and that's not what I wanted. So this is where you have to like check. It's supposed to tell you that you are overwriting two files since we have two files here. So I'm not going to come back here. I don't want you to append it. I want you to replace that data. So you're going to tell me that there's a data already there. Don't want to replace. Okay, so now this is what I want. If I click run now, it should tell me that I'm replacing two files. You see? And click run, it's going to do the two output, and you have your new data. So let's go back to our database. Let me refresh this. Refresh. If I go back to our table right now, and let me just do top 1000, for example. So you can see we have this bastard 2003 is still showing on there, where that one is on its own. No. It didn't show it. Let's look at our data. Why is it not showing up? Our pivot didn't work. You see showing this. Let's go back. Something is not right. So you can see it's showing all those fields. What happened? What happened? Let's see our pivot. So our pivot here worked. So in the flow, what happened? Are we still having? Okay, so should it work? So let me refresh. So why are we still having all of this? Let me refresh my database. Maybe I'll refresh. Let me close this. Let me go back to my notepad. My table. Why is
You
this one
see all
showing?
of them as null.
No, it's not supposed to even show this one up because
You remember you remove, by the time you are removing the output, I think you deleted one item there.
no, here it shows our output is right.
Okay.
Our output here is right. So, but in my database, we don't have those everything. So everything here is right. And the output run, let me see which database I put it. Nuclear reactor database. Okay, let me refresh.
Or maybe you reconnect.
Yeah, it could be. Let me. Okay. No, it's showing up some of those stuff. So where did you publish it? Oh. Right. Let me open up the Excel. Where is the Excel? Nuclear file. If the publish is published, so why is it not reflecting in our database? Let me check this. So the Excel, our CSV is fine. So I think that's a problem with my database, with my SQL. So this one is fine. So I think the issue is with my database. Let me SQL. Let me reopen it again. Any question while we wait for this one to open? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Unless we maybe I put this somewhere else. I don't know. Yeah, I think I might have published this somewhere else. I'm not. Oh, hold on. Which database is this? This is 326. So where do I have this? That's 326. So why is it not updating? Why is it not updating? That's weird. And let's see. Oh, wait. Let me see. I don't know why that one is not. Also create a table.
I think it will be in one of those.
Yeah, it might be in a different database. I don't know. We have nuclear superstar term. See, the nuclear reactor. But let's
Because
see. Maybe something's wrong. Something's wrong with my database. Let's see. Okay, it's finished running. Let me refresh my DB. Okay, so it didn't replace. So I will check out why it didn't replace. But so I run it separately. So it's supposed to replace. I don't know why the other one didn't replace. I'll check that out. But we can see that we have our new data here updated. So you can update your existing report with this new field. We can build a new dashboard. But that's the purpose of pivoting. When you have so many members of similar data, but you want to make them one entity, you do a pivot. It's very simple. But you just have to understand when to use it and when not to use it. Okay. Any question? No question?
seems a little bit complicated.
What is complicated there?
Well, I'm looking at it from the point that because it didn't run as expected anyway.
No, that one is issue with my database. It has nothing to do with pivoting. The pivoting work.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with. Sometimes you might be working and this server is down. Are you going to say because of that your data is wrong? It's the server. It's the server that is down. You know, 2 days ago, I mistakenly deleted one of my data file, data source on the server, and over 15 reports were broken. And the manager was actually using that report at that time. I quickly fixed it. Now, to publish it back to the server went down. So what will I do? Will I say because of that my data is wrong? I left it and I went to sleep. Came back in the morning, the server was up, and I published it. That's it. This has nothing to do with the flow. It's with the server. That's a different issue on its own. Okay. Any question? Quickly, I want to show one last thing how to like connect to Tableau using some custom query, some custom query. Now, any question on this before I move on? We have 30 more minutes, but we'll continue tomorrow anyway. No question, right? So now let's say another way of connecting to Tableau is using custom queries, okay? Now, you don't have this option in Tableau Desktop, but you have it in your, you don't have this option in Tableau Public, but in your Tableau Desktop, you're going to have the option. So let's say you want to work on a report, and the data, the query is supplied to you from one of the SQL developer. Okay. Most companies use custom query a lot. You've used custom query, right? Where somebody else will give you the query, and you just have to run the query and pull in your data, right? Is that here? Okay, let's say, for example, this might be, let's use this as our custom query. Let's say the SQL developer gave us this custom query, and he said they're looking for where, let's say where, let's just say core is equals to core, for example. And let's pass in another custom query, another where clause, and let's say, what can we do? What can we use here? And let's say they want only where nuclear, where the nuclear system, what is this? Nuclear stream. No, why is not populating this? But anyway, I want to just pick something, another. Okay, let's just say, let me do something simple for now. Where why this one not populating? Okay, I know where this is equals to this, and where is the core? Why is not populating this? Okay, or it's not populating it, but let's just do it for now. Let's say this is our custom query, okay? This is the query that they gave to you to pull in your data into your Tableau, and somebody supply you with this custom query. It's very simple to connect to Tableau using custom query. Just copy the query that they gave to you, go to your Tableau, go to your data, and connect to that database where the table is coming from. In this instance, we use Microsoft SQL Server. And this is login with your credentials as usual. Now, at first, Tableau will ask you to select a database. So, but it's very easy. You can select it. If you know the database, in this instance, which is nuclear reactor, select this, okay? Now, you're going to see all of the table here. Instead of pulling this table in, you can just drag a new custom query in here and paste your query into that that little box and click OK. Now, and just click OK. So Tableau will pull in all of that data. If you go to your data source now and you bring in your core here, you can see that it only brings in only core. That's because there is a where clause in the custom query where you stated that you only want where all of this query is equals to core. Okay, and this can be something else where they can pass in so many where clauses, and they can even do like left join to say, okay, they want to inner join this with another table, inner join, you know, with another table. They give you those long lists of query. All you have to do is copy it, come here, and paste it. Sorry, where is that? Let's go back in here and paste it into your custom SQL. Now, if this query change in the future and they modify the query, all you still have to do is copy the new query, come in here, double click, come here and edit custom query, and you can pass in whatever clause update that you want in here and run it so you can read your report. But whatever where clause that you pass into that query, that is where that's what Tableau is going to give to you. For example, if the users are saying, okay, how come we only have core? Where is terminates, or where is the other stuff? And you don't know, and you are looking at it, you're saying, but it's only core that we have here. Just know that the issue might be coming from your custom query. Just go and check your custom query and check the where clause here.
Take that one
Okay.
out.
Hello?
You take that one out, you take the core out.
Yeah, you can take it out. You can, if you take it out right now and you run it again, if you go back to your dashboard right now, you have everything. It's like a filter from the data. If you don't want to bring in all of the data, you know, but custom SQL again is minor. Some companies, especially Indian company, they will be asking you, they want somebody that can develop custom SQL and build Tableau report and develop data report. Those ones are the ones that will pay you $40 per hour. I want you to do everything. I just tell them I'm not developing custom SQL. No, that's not my job. But if you give me the SQL, I will do the job for you. You know. So, but if you still want to expand your skills in learning SQL, custom SQL, how to develop stored procedures, I mean, the option is there for you, okay? But this is how to connect to your data using custom SQL. Whatever they give you, just pass it in here. We will do more tomorrow and how to like do some joins using custom SQLs, bring in multiple tables, and then run it from here, you know. But again, I wouldn't worry. So I don't worry about custom SQLs. I don't like using custom SQL because if you have a lot of weird clauses or join coming from 3 or 4 tables and you're writing calculations, Tableau will have to look through all of those tables to give you the answer. So it does not enhance performance. That's why you will hardly see me use custom SQLs in my report. Since I have Tableau Prep here, I can, for example, instead of me connecting with my custom SQL here, I will just run this custom SQL in my Tableau Prep and use it as an extract. So with that, I've separated my report from my data so Tableau can work independently with speed. You know, there's no buffering and just rolling in there, you know. Or I can still bring all of the tables into Tableau Prep, do my joins, remove what I don't want, and publish what I want. The option is, yeah.
When you said you just copy the custom query from the one that was given to you, you just take it to Tableau Prep and bring it back to the database, right?
No. You don't need to do that. Since the data is already coming from the database, I can just output that on the Tableau server as a hyper, you know, Tableau data source. So for me, I will not write it back to the database unless the requirement says we should put it back on the database. But if it's just for me, I will just, instead of me writing it into the database here, I will just do publish data source and put it on my Tableau server, then connect to that data with my Tableau desktop. So the data is already on the Tableau server, and connect my Tableau there and build my report.
I didn't get that, Shannon, but maybe later.
No, it's the same way. Let's say this is the custom query now. We've run our flow. Okay, wait, let me open a new one.
Because it's quite different from what I used to do. Once I have a custom query, I'll just connect directly to my desktop and start working. Like, but
Yeah, you
when you
can.
mention performance now,
Yeah, you
it's
can,
another-
but those custom query are affect performance.
okay, but how about if I have a data that need to, that need to like update every 15 minutes,
update every 15 minutes.
Every 15 minutes, they're looking at some data that they needed to be updated every 15 minutes. They won't see everything that's happening real time.
Okay, in that case, you can use your Tableau desktop, then create an extract.
Yeah.
Extract the data once you are publishing your reports. Hold on. Once you are publishing your reports, you can create. You sign in, but now I don't have no server. That's why you create.
Yeah, I understand. I'm doing it already.
And you schedule your report to refresh, or you can even connect with custom query. Don't connect live. You're going to kill our reports. You're going to be too slow.
Yeah.
You're going to be too slow. I don't know why people do that, And people that say they want the report to refresh every 15 minutes, you find out that a lot of times they are in their office watching American football. They are not using those reports every 15 minutes, but they just want to create a requirement and anyway, just give them what they want. That's all I can say. But for performance purposes,
but I think in SQL Server, there's a way you can do your report that it updates itself, like every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. Can it be possible in Tableau too?
Remember, these two are just two individual applications, but you are connecting. So you have to tell Tableau when to go back to the database and extract the data or refresh.
Lucky. Yeah. If I create an extract and I need to, I need that data to refresh every 15 minutes. Since I've created extracts, it will not affect the performance of that data.
No, because
even if I'm using custom query.
It will be a lot better than
live.
Than live.
Obviously.
Yeah, sure. And custom query also. Since you are using custom query, that means you should have limited filters on your report because the custom query have already filtered the data to what they want. But where the key report is, they want all of these filters, and there's a custom query in it. A report that should load within 5 to 10 seconds might take 1 minute, 2 minute loading, depending on the size. But all of this is something that you don't have to stress yourself about. You can be something that on the job, once you do it once, that's it. Okay. So how do you connect to your data in Tableau? You connect through a custom query. You can connect through SQL Server. You can connect through CSV, through Excel. Sometimes in your interview, they might ask you what type of data have you connected to. Just list everything that is here. You connected to Excel, text file, Microsoft Access, PDF. Just keep listening to them. By the time you list 5, 6, 7, they know you've used multiple data. Again, there is nothing in there. They're all the same. It just, so as long as they have a conductor for their server, you can connect to anything. That's it. There's no logic. There's no magic in it. Any question?
The custom query, is it the data source you connect from, right?
Yeah, custom query is like, in SQL Server, Snowflakes, all those databases, they have their language. So in querying your data, for example, in querying the data, they have like different language that they query the data. For example, if the users want to query this table now, they might say select. They are telling the database what to do. They might say select nuclear reactor from this table. So with this, you are telling SQL that give me this column from this table. If you run it, it should give you only. I think something's wrong with my server. If you run it, it should give you only that column. Okay, it should give you only that column. You know, so it's a language of how people run query their data from different database, and the language is similar but a little bit different. But you can copy those codes and go to your Tableau and use that same code to extract data from that database. That's what custom query is. Okay, but again, don't stretch yourself. Okay, I don't use custom query. I mean, I've done several jobs and I'm still doing a lot of job now. I don't use custom query, you know. But just know it. If they give it to you, you know where to go drop it and extract your data. That's it. Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We will continue on this tomorrow. We will practice, do some hands-on on SQL, then take those code into database. That I wish Ejuru was here. Ejuru is not a guru on writing complex SQL. I will call her tomorrow, you know, to show you how she write those SQL at work. But you can also just train yourself, use some free resources online to like get some basic in it. But for me, with Tableau Prep, you can do anything from any kind of logic they want, you know. But we will do some hands on that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and you have a good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Nice.